I would like for us to take a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance next. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. The next item on the menu is the adoption of the agenda. Or are there any changes in the agenda?
Mayor, I would like to add under new business 8B to add boardwalk repairs and possibly let's take action tonight to authorize our town manager to move forward possible special services. I'd like to add 8D under new business to add boardwalk repairs and possible action by this board for the repairs to that area behind Avenue, and to take possible action to authorize Melissa, our town manager, to move forward with special services or request for pricing for special services.
Okay, very well. Are there any other changes, additions, modifications to the agenda? All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt with Commissioner Lasol's addition. Second.
There is a motioner and a seconder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That is a unanimous approval. The next item is presentations and reports, and we have an employee recognition, Tony Corbin. So I'm going to hand this over to our town manager.
Thank you. So we are really excited. Of course, at your last meeting, we had a great ceremony celebrating our new police chief, Chief Eilert. Of course, that created a vacancy in the police department. And so we tonight are going to swear in our new lieutenant, Tony Corbin. So Jamie is getting the microphone, and why don't y'all come up front? And the Corbin family is here. Y'all come hold the Bible. And then after the oath, we will pause for a minute for pictures.
Okay, very well. Jamie knows what to do.
She does.
I'll come over here.
So his hand's not in his face in the pictures.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, there we go. All right. Then I state your name and we'll go from there. Okay. I state your name.
Anthony Judson Corbin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina,
and to the constitutional powers
to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
and authorities which are
or may be established
or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor
that I will endeavor
to support, maintain,
to support and maintain,
and defend the Constitution
defend the Constitution
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent with
not inconsistent with
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be alert and vigilant
that I will be alert and vigilant
to enforce the criminal laws
to enforce the criminal law
of this state,
of this state,
that I will not be influenced
that I will not be influenced
in any manner
in any manner
on account of personal bias
on account of personal bias,
or prejudice,
prejudice,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
execute the duties of my office
execute the duties of my office
as lieutenant
as lieutenant
according to the best of my skill,
according to the best of my skill,
abilities, and judgment.
abilities, and judgment. So help me God.
Okay. Good job. Congratulations.
Go easy, Bryson. There you go. Michelle, do you want the board members to stand for one of them? Okay. Congratulations, Lieutenant. Proud of you, bud.
All right. It is always a fine moment when we can swear a police officer in as lieutenant. So congratulations. The next item on our consent agenda is approval of minutes for the regular meeting, which was on February 7th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, everyone is in agreement. That is unanimous. We also have minutes from a recessed meeting on February 21st, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motioner and a second? Great. We got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. All right. So we are now on to public comment. So this is the time in our agenda where members of the public are invited to address the Board of Commissioners on any topic. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions or to take any action on items brought up during this period. Speakers will address all the comments to the board as a whole and not one individual. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Time limits are 3 minutes per person, 5 minutes per group. So please come forward to the lectern and identify yourself so your statements can be recorded. Is there anyone out there who wishes to speak during public comment? I don't see any takers. I'm going to ask again, though. Is there anyone out there who would like to speak publicly this evening? All right. No one has approached the lectern, so we will go on to old business. The first item under old business is the Maritime History Task Force. And I'm going to turn this over to Melissa Dickerson first for a staff report or a staff update on this. I think that it was during the meeting July 19th, 2023, that the Town of Manteo Board of Commissioners nominated Laverne Parker to chair this Manteo Maritime History Task Force. So given that, Melissa, do you want to go over a little bit of the history of that?
Sure. So Ms. Parker and I have met a number of times. I know that she has also had individual conversations with you all about the task force. So we had talked about kind of doing this in a similar fashion to how we set up the healthcare task force, which is, we've continued to add and take away members and, what works. So there is a list of recommended folks that of names that that have been shared with me, and then I also make it clear, similar to the healthcare task force, where there were representatives from the different kind of stakeholder entities that the membership also be rounded out by a number of folks, including someone with a commercial fishing background, additional representation from the boat building and marine community, and also seats to reflect the diverse makeup of our town as well. So there are names here that have been suggested, and then also I acknowledge that there's more work to do on the membership as well.
All right, thank you. And for those people listening, we mentioned the task force chair, Laverne Parker, who I keep pointing to her. She is here in the audience. Another Parker is William Parker, who has shown interest in working on this particular task force. Angel Corey, who is a person who had worked on that 20-year plan and really came up with some great ideas about what the museum could look like in the past. So she has lots of experience. She's collected a lot of oral histories and a lot of photographs. So she would be a very valuable member. And then Michael McOwen is another person who has, whose name is on this list and who has a lot of experience with, family stories and the histories focusing on our maritime past. So one of the reasons that this, I think, was important, and it was Mayor Bobby Owens who really thought we had something here and was an advocate of this, was that this task force will help us capture the maritime histories, of which there are many. And we know that they're out there. We know that there are places where they are, but we don't have a repository So this would help us do that. This is also a perfect fit with our Main Street program, and one of the tasks on our Main Street program is that we record these oral histories, and we share the story of how our town came to be. So it fits within that scope of work, actually, that has been led by Michelle Bunce. And there's a lot of eagerness to get started on this, even though we had approved this back in July. So I think we need a motion to appoint the suggested members. And, you know, we can, like Melissa said, we can continue to add to this core group recommended folks by the Board of Commissioners and staff.
Madam Mayor, also, it's important for you all to select a member of your board to be the liaison to the task force as well.
Yes, that is so true. And in fact, I feel very fortunate we have a member of the board who is interested tonight in serving in that position. And yeah, any other ideas about that? I think Michael would be a fantastic liaison. And he agreed to it. Thank you. So I guess we would need a motion to appoint this core group to get started along with the liaison of the board.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the following member, Commissioner Beth Knight to the liaison for free task force, including Bill Parker, Angela Corey, Michael Tillman, and Laverne,
So we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it unanimously. So we are up and running. Yay. Thank you all. And thank you for your future service on this board. I know that you've got history in the area of maritime, so wonderful. All right. The next order of old business, and that would be under B, if you're following along on your agenda, and that's the resolution to accept the funding offer from North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, the Division of Water Resources. And I am going to turn this over to our town manager.
So this is in front of you all today, and this process has been a little messy, not by any fault of ours, but our funding application for the UV disinfection and resiliency project has been on a number of different desks at DWI, which is the Division of Water Infrastructure at DEQ. And so last Thursday, I received an email from their new project manager from the grant management unit who said, hey, I think that we skipped a step, and can you get your board to approve this resolution and accept the funding offer? So we went ahead and got this on the agenda based on the previous ones that we had done for the Shallowbag Bay pump station, and then today, in advance of the meeting, they have shared with me the funding offer letter. And so this authorizes me to do what we need to do to move forward on that. So until all these things get approved, we can't actually begin spending the money. So this is not the first step. This is step, whatever it is. But after this, then we hustled and were able to, I think, get this on the LGC's agenda for their April meeting. So it'll be approved by the LGC at that meeting, and then we'll be totally where we need to be. So this is just some housekeeping to get caught up.
Great, yeah. So we need a motion. Yes.
Make a motion
Okay.
that we accept the resolution, number 2024-04, to go ahead and, I guess, engage. Is that
It's
right?
to accept the offer letter.
Accept the offer letter.
All right, we have a motion, and that is a resolution to accept the offer letter. And is there a second to that motion? Yes, we have a second. That's on the floor. Is there any discussion at all on this? Okay, yeah, it's kind of a housekeeping issue. So, all those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, by nay. The ayes have it unanimously. The next order of business under old business is the Dare County Youth Center Special Use Permit Order. And I'm going to turn this one over to Melissa Dickerson as well.
Yes, so we recently received building plans, demolition application, and such for the old lodge building. So the county is ready to move forward, and in working through the application process, I realized that this is an important step in approving the special use permit order that got missed last year. So this is another housekeeping item that we just need to take care of before I can move those other permits forward.
Okay.
They got me? We usually conclude the special use permit process by having this order drafted and presented to you all for approval. And after the quasi-judicial hearing, we didn't bring it back to you. So now we are. Make it right. Yes.
Yes, of course. Of course. Well, Betty, would you like to make the motion? Wonderful. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it unanimously. All right, now on to new business. And the first item A under new business is the General Service Agreement Engineering Services. And this one I'm going to hand off to Melissa as well.
Yes, thank you. And just before the meeting, our dedicated town attorney pointed out to me that I had not included the scope of work for your consideration with the General Services Agreement. So I have one to pass around to you all, but I'll give you a little background. So back in December, we put out a request for qualifications for engineering services for a number of things that are on our 10-year capital improvement plan for water and sewer improvements. So we had firms respond, and we went through those responses and have selected Timmons, the Timmons Group, as the engineering firm to assist us on these matters. I tried to arrange a phone meeting with them, and they responded and said, no, we want to come visit. So they came and spent an entire day with us. They toured the plant. They were really here, boots on the ground, really eager. And so they also have a more local office in Elizabeth City where they have a surveying crew, which is fantastic. And then they have offices with all kinds of expertise in Raleigh and in Richmond. So they have been pretty impressive so far. Josh was very eager to move forward with them. And so this is the next step. And so I have the Exhibit A that I will pass to you all now. And it is a lot of a number of different projects, but also well, that defines the scope. It won't work.
Well, it looks like they're a good fit for Manteo.
I think they will be a wonderful fit, yes. And also, what was different about their application is that they have, and I wish Commissioner Stetson was here this evening, maybe when she listens later, they also have a grant writer on staff who can assist us for helping us identify funds for these projects. So the idea is that we'll get these projects shovel-ready and then work with their grant writer to apply for appropriate grants for the funding.
That is great news. Really, really good news. All right.
So a motion would be in order.
All right. I'll give you all a little time to look at the scope of work that Melissa passed out.
I would make a motion that we accept the engineering service agreement with Kennedy Engineering Services. Move forward.
All right, we've got a motioner. Is there a second?
Second.
Excellent. We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion about this? Okay, seeing none, I will ask for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? No opposed? So we have unanimous acceptance of this motion. All right, and then we've got we've got two more items under new business. We've got the Text Amendment Special Events Committee. Oh, yes, this is another kind of housekeeping. Did I miss something? Oh, sorry. Okay, pardon me. I've got too many notes on my on my agenda. All right, yes, under B. Of course, North Carolina Governor's Crime Commission Grant Award acceptance.
So, in kind of the same tune as the other, actually, Lieutenant Corbin had applied for a grant for some financial assistance with some radios. They are very expensive. And we have been awarded $24,464.88 to go towards radios. And so a motion would be in order to accept the award so we can move forward with all of that.
That is a great start. I so appreciate any kind of funding. Generally, funding is, there are a lot of different funds out there for the police departments around our country. So I really appreciate that has gone out and sought this. So that being stated, is there a motion to accept these funds?
I'll make a motion to accept the funds presented, the grants.
Very well. Second. All right, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. All right. So then we can go on to new business under C, and that is a Text Amendment Special Events Committee, which I believe is also kind of a housekeeping
Yes,
item.
ma'am, it is. And our Community and Economic Development Director, Michelle Bunce, will be here to present this item for you all.
Good evening.
Turn it off. So the town of Manteo Board of Commissioners had established a special events committee back in September of 2020. At that time, we did not have, and we were not, a North Carolina Main Street. And as you know, the Main Street Board is actually tasked with economic development, which includes special events. It is a great way to organize special events, both the town-sponsored and third-party. So with that said, now with the creation of the Main Street Board, we suggested to do a text amendment to remove the Special Events Committee because you have it again with the Main Street Board. And we will still work with volunteers and community members who want to participate and be a part of these events committees and help because we couldn't do it without them. And in fact, we hope to grow that program and grow volunteers and hopefully through the Main Street grow that program as well. But I didn't want to not thank the people who had already served on that committee. So real quick. Please do. Tim Teeple, Jamie Anderson, Niecy Morris, Nicole Thrash, Carl and Sue Woody, they come together, Hunt Thomas, Dana Lisenby, and Ruth Stetson. At the time, she was not commissioner. So we just want to give them a big round of applause and a big thank you for all the work that they did as the Special Events Committee. So,
Yeah, they were a busy committee.
they were.
And now that it makes a lot of sense to go under the Main Street organization. Yeah, perfect.
I think it'll actually be a much better experience being a part of the Main Street Board and that group. So I think they'll be able to expand a little bit more on what they were able to do as the Special Events Committee. So
Yeah, that makes sense, that they'll be interactive, yeah, with all the different aspects of Main Street. Wonderful. All right, I believe,
So a motion to adopt the text amendment would be in order.
all right. Do we have a motion toward, okay. Great. We have a motion on the floor to accept the text amendment Special Events Committee change. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it unanimously.
thank you.
All right, thank you. The last item under new business is the boardwalk repair. And since you brought this up, would you like to start off with that?
Yeah, I think we all know the section of dock that's in discussion and it's back behind where the Avenue restaurant used to be. And it's spray painted neon. I mean, it's been like that for about a year, maybe, spray painted. And we've been, I know Melissa's been working towards it, but I think with the season upon us and so many people are on that boardwalk, it's become a liability, I think, for the town just because of the condition it's in. And I just think we're at the point now that we just need to move forward. And I think Melissa and Heather have explored some possible funds that can be used to go ahead and at least patch, repair the section that is in question before, I don't know if we can get it before the season, but hopefully we can get it ASAP.
Yes.
Sure. So the first step in that process, well, first I want to say, we had planned to apply for the CAMA Access Grant dollars to assist in some cost share of that, like I presented to you all at the last meeting. And I understand that that timeline is much slower than getting the repairs made for the season. So the first step in getting a plan together to perform that kind of construction would be to engage with an engineer to help us understand more about what's going on there. So you all can move forward in that regard by authorizing me to engage with an engineer to do that, and that would get the ball rolling sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I will say that personally, I have heard from so many people who are very concerned. I know that we've all gotten the comments, and we were with a group of about 20-some people a couple of weeks ago, and they all stopped and said, we've got to do something about this. And I think we all know that it's, you can't invite hundreds of thousands of people to your town and then have situations where it might put them, not in peril, but it could put them in harm's way if we don't pay attention to it. And the season of all of our visitors coming is upon us. So I just wanted to hear, I think it's a really good idea for us to look at this, go with the plan of hiring someone.
We would then come back to you all for the construction dollars, but I can't imagine that the scope of services would cross the threshold of you all actually having to make a motion, but, what do you think?
I think it's fine for a motion to direct the manager
Yeah, sure.
to board.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what the damage is, but it's going to be a construction project that if it hits the requirements, that once you've got the construction design and scope of work and potential cost, you'll know whether or not you have to do formal or informal bidding.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it will
Yeah.
probably be in, at least the informal, and likely be in the formal bidding or close to the formal bidding range.
Yes.
All right, so is there any other discussion from the board on this? I think we all recognize the severity of the situation. Anybody else want to comment? Okay. Is there a motion to direct Town Manager Melissa Dickerson?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. We have a motion. Melissa, you heard what we're looking for? Yep. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Great. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. So that just went to the top of the list. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Now we are at item 9. And that is a closed session for the board to have a discussion. And we are going to need a motion to go into closed session. We have a motion to go into closed session. Is there a second?
This is a pretty specific
Okay.
motion. Unless you want to do it, since you've got the sheet, I'll come up.
I don't have the worksheet. I just
What you'd want to do is to move to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143.318.11A5 to establish or instruct the public body staff, negotiating agents concerning the position to be taken by or on behalf of the public body in negotiating the price and other material terms of a contract or a proposed contract for the acquisition of real property by purchase, option, exchange, or lease of the real property located at 301 North Highway 64, 264, Manteo, North Carolina 27954, owned of record by PNC Bank for any public purpose.
Very well.
So if someone would say so moved.
Yes. We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor to go into closed session signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. So, Thank you all. Yeah, see you, Ryan.
See ya.
Thank you, Laverne. Thank you. Your shoes are wet? And I usually start on this end. How about if I start on this end today? Would you have any comments as a commissioner?
Just continued thoughts, prayers for those families who were affected. Melissa, I know that you're deeply involved, and as are many. And having spent time with Eddie and his team, I saw how dedicated they were to all efforts to try to uncover information for those who are suffering and grieving. And I can't tell you the amount of prayers I put out there, but just the heartfelt sympathy for those who are going through this. It is unbearable, and it is not what we are supposed to endure as humans, but it's part of it, and I just want to thank everybody who's been involved. With that said, just a fantastic time for us all right now as we're entering into, hopefully, when the rain stops, a beautiful part of the season. Our citizens and our constituents, our folks, our family, our friends are coming out, enjoying this town that we love so much. And we're starting to see a lot of folks come out and enjoy it from outside of town as well. So the season is beginning, and the music is playing. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mann?
I'd like to echo Commissioner Best, and I think all of us, our hearts are with Charlie Griffin's family and Chad Dunn's family. And though they don't live in Manteo, they're our neighbors and part of our community and our family as well. And just want to keep them close to us in this time that's difficult for them. And thank the Coast Guard and the Dairy MS, County Sheriff's Office, Wildlife, Marine Fisheries for helping out, doing what they can, and hopefully the family with support from the community will one day have closure.
Thank you.
I
Todd?
just concur with Commissioner Bassnight and Mann. I feel the same way. It's been a hard week.
Yeah. Thank you. And you, Hannah?
Same. It's sad. It's Monday morning. And it's been wonderful to see the community support an outpouring of love, which has been very important. And the potential work set in Milford.
Okay, thank you, Betty. Yeah, and I feel the same way. Also want to thank everybody who participated in the rescue efforts and this great community support. So I wanted to say that. And I on another hand, I also wanted to say that we did have First Friday in terms of Michael Bassnight's comments, and that means things are starting. So we will have lots and lots of people downtown. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Recess.
Oh, there is a motion.
Two
March
o'clock, if
20th.
that works in everybody's.
March 20th? Okay. We are, is there a motion to recess March 20th at 2 o'clock?
At a location to be determined.
At a location to be determined.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. This meeting is adjourned.